Can you hear the music?
Yeah, I can hear it.
Hell yeah, you can. Look at that.
That's pretty good.
Where's the snare? I got no snare in my headphones. Yeah.
Shout out to Eminem.
Shout out to Eminem. Man, we're gonna talk about that.
Yeah, shout out to Eminem,
fucking
man.
me right up. Something's been fucking me up about that.
I know, man. I think I know where you're gonna go with it. I could be wrong, but I think I know. Awesome intro song. That's pretty awesome.
Hell yeah, man. I had that made for me by a guy named Senjin Boychuk. You know, shout out to that guy, right?
Yeah.
He's from Regina and like an incredible person, you know, doesn't have very many followers on the socials anywhere, you know, a couple hundred here and there. But like the guy doesn't care. He's I'm pretty sure he's like a journeyman electrician, and he only does that to not to sponsor, but to fund his music hobby, or not even a hobby, his passion. Right. So
that's awesome, man. And you know what? If he can live in Regina too, good for him, because man, in the winter it gets cold there.
It gets
like
cold in Regina.
It's up to like, man, I was there one time. I was at the airport. I got up to, I think I was about to head on the plane. I think it was minus 45, man. Yeah. And like my snot out of my nose was like freezing up.
Oh yeah.
Like instantly.
Yep.
You know?
Good old Regina, man. Like, you know, the coldest I've ever worked in was probably, Thompson, Manitoba for sure was up there. Minus 58 or something like that.
Holy
without the wind. It was nuts.
My God.
And I think I worked 13, 12 years ago, something like that, at Husky Sunrise up here when they were building it. And fucking the only time the oil patch has ever shut down for anything, it got to like minus 57, and I'm like, hey boys, call her there. Like, we're going back to camp. Like, everything shut down. But that was in the morning, and then by like mid-afternoon it was minus 45. They're like, it warmed up, let's go back. Right. And like,
it's tropical out there now, boys.
Yeah, you couldn't get half the guys didn't come back. There was like 30 of us, and like more than half didn't come back. They all, I didn't see the text, you know, I didn't hear my phone. I was napping. I was at the gym, and I went back, you know, because I was goody two shoes. But like now, you know, like now I'd be like, fuck you.
Friggin' cold, man. That I'm telling you right now. You know, as Canadians, you know, it's like just kind of used to it too a little bit. I should say, like, it is cold. Like at first it shocks you, but like you said, you know, you work in minus 45. Yeah. And it's just, you know, it's just normal for us. A lot of us that work up in the patch, you know, you go outside. You go in the smoke pit, you light up a cigarette, you're in the smoke pit, you're just like talking shop, and you're freezing your ass off. And you know, you rethink your life, like, what the hell am I out here doing? This is my
A lot of people don't realize this, but like the cold, that kind of cold weather is different all across Canada, right?
It
like,
is.
I'm from Ontario originally. Minus 20 is fucking hell in southern Ontario. Minus 20, minus 25. I'm from Hamilton. Minus 25 in Hamilton. I would rather sit naked out in minus 40 here, right?
Yeah.
The humidity, right? Like, you got the lake humidity. And, it's nasty. Well, you're from Newfoundland, right? So you know.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I know all about that. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Alberta, minus 40, no wind. I could sit out there all day.
Yeah, it's like a dry cold.
Minus 40 is beautiful with no wind.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree with you 100%, man.
Yeah.
I agree with you 100%.
Wild. So this week on the podcast, you know, I'm pretty excited to be joined by Scotty Show Time, you know, Scotty.
I know. I didn't even put my full name, man. I was just like, I don't know why, because maybe, I don't know, because if somebody were to search my name or something, I just, you know, when you first start doing this kind of hilarious stuff, you're just kind of making fun of yourself. You're having a good time. Like you said, like when you went back and you talked about, you know, you did it in COVID, like around there where you just, you know, you just want to laugh, you know, and I don't know, because I felt like if somebody's going to search for my name, it'll pop up right away. And at first you're a bit nervous for even doing it. So I just changed it to Scotty Show Time. Just maybe it wouldn't show up like when somebody searched my name. Silly, but yeah.
It's kind of funny. Originally, I had my full first whole name on there, right? My full name. And it was nothing, because who am I? I'm fucking nobody, right?
Yeah.
I'm a nobody, but like now I'm a nobody that has followers, right? I think it was, I got to about 1,200 followers ish, and I had to change my name because people were searching me out on my private Facebook account.
Yes.
And when you get to my private Facebook account, it was back when my phone number was on there. Right. And they were like calling me looking for work and shit like that. And I had no idea what was going on yet. Right. And kids' pictures are on there. My wife's like, hey, this is becoming a security thing, right? I'm like, oh, you got to hire security guards now? Like, what?
Yeah.
And so I changed it. And I don't know if many people know the origin story of how I got Dick Frost, but
no,
like,
I was going to ask you about that. Yeah.
$1 million idea happened like a year and a half prior to even getting on the internet, right?
Yeah.
So, I promise there won't be much about me. It's all
good. I love hearing about it. Yeah, go ahead.
I think I've made 1 or 2 videos about it, right? Where it was minus 50 out. It was a polar vortex in Fox Vegas. And I'm working on a combo vac, and we got called out to steam some wellheads, right? And we're steaming the wellheads, and of course there's some consultants standing downwind or upwind, whatever the hell it was. I don't know, downwind. So they were standing upwind. So and I'm spraying the wellheads, and I can't shoot it towards them because they're important and I'm not. So I'm shooting steam at it, and the wind's blowing it all back at me, and I've got I got the picture on my Instagram, actually. I got like a 3-inch layer of ice around my hard hat, icicles hanging out of my nose, icicles hanging off my safety glasses, and then my mustache is just frozen. And the rain gear I had on, I had to take off like a sweater because I couldn't get the zipper undone. It was frozen.
Oh, yes.
It stood up on its own, like a mannequin. I was frozen. Right. And I took that picture, and I'm like, Dick Frost reporting for duty, Richard, Dick, and
I see.
Right? I was Frosty, right? So I was like, Dick Frost. Posted it. I get back to the shop, and my boss is like, what's up, Dick Frost? I'm like, hey, buddy, what's up? Right. And then, I built a snowman on lease a few months later, and he had my hard hat on and my glasses. And I'm like, Frost, one of the greatest swampers ever. He can't talk back.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
And so it was funny. And then when it came time to change my name on TikTok, a couple thousand followers in, I guess, I'm like, fuck it, what do I change this to? So then I'm like, fuck it, Dick Frost. It's right there. Dick Frost. Fucking do it.
Not even about that. Yeah.
Not even a second thought about it. I changed it to that. I made one video. I get back to the shop, and I started off with a black hard hat, right? On my TikTok. I hated that thing. My boss was like, you need a new hard hat, man. That it's taking some hits.
Oh, yeah.
Gives me this blue one with my name tag, Dick Frost, on it. He's like, here you go, Dick. I'm like, oh, shit, right? And then
that sounds like a beauty.
And then the rest is history, man. Here we are, like a podcast and 250,000 followers across the internet later, and fucking just having
That's awesome, man. Good for you, man. That's what I mean, man. With life is like, if you don't fuck around, you'll never find out, right? I think I've seen a video of that one time, but it's true. If you don't fuck around, you'll never find out. A lot of people, they wish they could do something, or they wish this, it's not me, I'm not lucky. But it's like, man, if you don't try it, if you don't fuck around, what will ever happen to you? If you don't make mistakes, if you don't be stupid sometimes. And plus, the way I look at it too sometimes, and good for you, man, for doing what you're doing, because the way I look at it is, like, one day you're going to be dead, and the people that love you are going to miss you 100%. But however, nobody else gives a shit. Hundreds of years are going to go on. Nothing you do is going to really matter unless you're Elon Musk or something. And maybe it does. I'm not saying it won't, but I'm just saying, like, who cares? Who cares? What was that? You're forgotten in 2 generations? Yeah. So who cares? You become a man, right? And then what do you do? You pass on your ashes to your children, and then what do they do from there? Right? Yeah. They spread them somewhere because, like, their kids and grandkids don't know who the fuck you are. They're not gonna carry you in their mantle. Man, and you're dead anyway, so what does it matter? What are you? You're dead anyways, bro. It don't fucking matter. Dead anyways. It doesn't matter, bro. No, that's the way I look at it, man. After some of the readings I've done, and the reason why I start just making funny videos, and at first, like, it is nerve-wracking. Like, I'm sure you went through that too. But then when people start finding out about you, and like, I don't have anything crazy. Like, I'm happy, and thanks again for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. But I don't have any crazy amount of followers. Like, I just start doing it for fun. But then when people start realizing, like yourself and your wife and other people, like friends of mine, they start like, hey, you're on TikTok. Hey, I seen you pop up on Facebook. Somebody posted your video. And I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, oh man, they found out. But then they start coming with ideas. Oh, you should do this. You should do this. Yeah. I was like, oh yeah, I guess that's a good idea. But they start wanting to get involved. They want to be involved too. And it's just, not what I expected. So it's
Dude,
it's fun.
dude, a lot of my content went that way, right? I started making with some of with my wife, some of my coworkers that are also on TikTok, right? Oh man, I got this job 2 months ago. I I got offered this. And when I got here, my boss is on TikTok. He got me the job, right? That's how we know each other, through TikTok. And all my coworkers, a lot of my coworkers, they also know him through TikTok. So they work here, and they're all smaller creators. But man, I found like I lost that spark for a little bit on TikTok, right? Like I just I was like, do I even really want to be here anymore? And like having fun still, moving my stuff around the internet. And when I'm like, where does this go, right? And when I got here, me making videos reignited their passion for it, because they were all just like, and then everyone was making them, and the people in the office started making them again, and creating accounts. And what I found was, they're like, man, we should make one together. And I'm like, fuck yeah. So they were starting to search for ideas, and I was searching for ideas. Man, my content the last 2 months has never been better. 4 years into this, the last 2 months has been the funnest 4 months I've had. Or 2 months.
That's good. That's good, man. That's awesome. It's funny how sometimes that hits us too as humans. We're like, oh, it's just a bit down. It's always like a roller coaster, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think it must be more fun to collab with people and do it too.
Oh, it is.
Whereas right now I'm kind of doing it by myself. Like I think some videos I could get my wife into it, because she's hilarious too. And I had a few buddies back in Newfoundland that really would get it on, but I don't live next to them anymore, and we're just kind of but yeah, no, it's definitely helps when you got a family or a group of friends to do it with, because you can think, you can think about ideas, and somebody that wants to get on social media too and act it out, and it's great. Loads of
my one coworker, he doesn't have nearly as many followers as I do, and if he posts the video, it doesn't do great, right? But he's like, man, I have this idea, and I have this vision in my head. He's like, this is good for your account. Let's do it. So we do it, and the way he makes the videos is different from the way I make the videos. But when we get together, we put our two together. And then I was doing it where I was like, hey, I'm going to do it this way. And then he's like, no. He's like, that looks good, but try it this way, right? And I did that one, like, that looks fucking cool, bro, And then like, hold on, let's try it this way for a sec. I did it another way. I'm like, no. We're doing it again that way.
Yes.
Right? So we went back to his way, and man, it was so good. And then he made a video. He's like, man, we got to make this video. I'm like, yes, but back at camp. This is funny. This is a funny camp video, right? Yeah. And so he said to me, he's like, all right, let's do it. So I got him after he was done in the gym. And we went and sat down in the couches, the couches in the lounge room. And the way he did the one movement with his lips, he's just like, nope. And the way he did that fucking sent me to the moon, dude. Like, I was like, oh my God. Like, I feel like you're the one that's here with all the followers and all this experience that I'm learning right now. Man, this is incredible, right? Yeah. And the video did amazing. I think it has like 300,000 views on TikTok or something.
No way. That's sick. That's sick. Yeah. He must have felt good after that though, too. You know what I mean? It must have boosted him up a bit. Of course, made him feel good. Because man, the editing, what I found, like, that's what the cool thing when I got on TikTok was that the editing. Because you learn editing skills, which I enjoy. Like, it was fun. You cut it here and it doesn't work, and you kind of mess around with it a bit. That's the fun part of it as well. Not just the acting and coming up with ideas, but the editing I find is actually kind of fun. Yeah, like I can spend a lot of time on it, trying to tweak it, and it's hilarious. You just want to learn more. It's addicting.
Yeah. Are you on Instagram?
No, I didn't start an Instagram account. I do have an Instagram account, but it's just my personal account.
Move your stuff to Instagram.
I know I should. I was thinking about doing that. I got to start getting into it more, like, because you're right. Because the more platforms, the better, obviously.
Well, not just that, but Instagram is where all the advertisers are, right? With the TikTok ban in the US looming potentially, right?
Yes.
No one's really doing any advertising on there. That, for the most part, any company that wants to work with you, if they find you on TikTok, they immediately search for you on Instagram. If you're on Instagram, they want you, right? Okay. Like I'm with Troll, right? Like Heat Waves and stuff like that. They don't give a shit about your TikTok following. They don't care. They don't care at all. Okay. They don't care at all. They only watch what you do on Instagram, and they don't give a shit. That's
good to know.
Yeah. Yeah, and Instagram, your followers are worth double that of what TikTok is. So if you have way less followers on Instagram, right? Chances are you still have more than TikTok, right? Because just the way the engagement works and just the way everything works on Instagram, it's just
I gotta create something and then just transfer it all over. Then the problem is though, I don't have those videos anymore saved. They're just all on TikTok.
Yeah. So good thing for you is you're not lip syncing, you're talking. I have a program that will allow you to copy the link, put the link into the thing, and it takes out the watermark for you. And then you can slide it over anywhere you want.
Sick. Okay. I'll have to hit you up and message you to find out all that.
Oh yeah, man. It's amazing. And then, monetized on Facebook. You got to get on Facebook. I make decent money over on Facebook off my content, right? So it's like, I think one video last month, I dropped a comment and it created a little tiff in the comment section. So it created lots of engagement, right?
Oh,
and
nice.
I made $500 off the video, right? It was
sick.
It literally took me no time to make the video.
Yeah. Whoa, casino, let's go, baby.
Well, you were saying the thing you were saying about fuck around and find out, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta fuck around to find out. You being from Newfoundland, you know who Donnie Dumphy is.
Oh, Donnie, yes, I know Donnie.
Brenda. Donnie Dumphy was on my podcast. I had Donnie Dumphy on the podcast. Yeah, man. Donnie, how that all started for Donnie is he fucked around and found out. He was just messing around with the guys, right?
He was just literally messing around with the guys, man.
Something I found out about Donnie is Brenda wasn't his actual girlfriend.
No way.
Brenda, I asked him on the podcast. I'm like, man, so like, what does Brenda think of the hair right now? He's like, well, I'm sure if Brenda wasn't all cozied up to her boyfriend or her husband right now with their kids, she would have something to say. I'm like, wait, you're telling me that Brenda isn't yours? He's like, no, man, Brenda was just a buddy's wife that played the part. I'm like, shut up, man, no fucking way. He's like, yeah, dude, how it started, he was just fucking around doing dumb shit on the streets of Newfoundland. Someone recorded it, and Donnie Dumphy became a thing, man.
Damn, well, you just blew my mind, actually, because I actually thought that he was with Brenda.
I thought he was with Brenda, too. It made my whole childhood a lie, or at least my early adulthood, anyway.
Damn. God,
Donnie.
Well, yeah. Brenda, what do you want?
Brenda, what do you want? Yes,
that was kind of like when YouTube kind of I shouldn't say first came out, but like when I was a kid, like when I seen his video for the first time, it was like that was when the big YouTube kind of thing started hitting off, and he was all the rage in Newfoundland. Donnie, Brenda, what do you but yeah, he was just fucking around, man. And good for him.
I love that guy. I love him. We didn't do visual because he wasn't dressed up as Donnie that day, right?
Oh yeah.
He's like, I didn't want to get I didn't want to do all the stuff I had to do. He's like, so I'm just coming on as whatever. And man, what a fucking great episode that was, man. I'll share that with you. That was a good one.
Do it, man. I want to listen to that. That's hilarious.
So man, why I wanted you on the podcast, dude? Like you work in the oil patch.
Yeah.
Right? You're from Newfoundland.
Yep.
You work in Alberta.
Yeah, and
you live in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, what's that?
What would you say about Alberta?
No, I was just joking around. I was like, and I'm an alcoholic. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just joking.
and you live in the Pacific Northwest. Like you're from there, you work here,
yes.
You live there. You're from.
I'm on the total other coast, man. I was literally just in Newfoundland for my girls' volleyball tournament in Deer Lake. I was there a couple days ago. I was only there for 4 days, and I flew all the way back to Vancouver, hopped across the border to Washington State, and now I'm in Washington State.
What's it like living in a state with no tax?
Oh man, well, it's nice, man. Like my wife works for, she's got her green card, so she's able to collect the American dollar, which is nice. And yeah, no state tax, man. It's awesome. Like it's
living it up over there. Just like
it's good, man. We're saving. Well, yeah, we're saving up. We don't really like. I don't know, man. Money's like a funny thing. It's like I'm not cheap, but I'm just kind of. I don't know, like I don't need nice things. You know what I mean? Like I really don't. Like I don't need like skidoos and boats and trucks and Brendas in my life. You know what I mean? I just need I don't know, man. But it's nice. We're here to just save up money for the kids' college and stuff like that. We had houses back in Newfoundland. I used to Airbnb for a while, for about for a while, I would say. And it was going good, but then the government started getting their hands and all that stuff. And it didn't seem as much profitable. And like the house I had too was on the beach in Deer Lake. And it was beautiful, man. We used to get a lot of people. The traveling was great, but then, well, you know, COVID and everything, and people didn't like to spend money and you know, what you had to pay for materials and everything. You just you're almost better off just long-term renting it, honestly, is what it worked out to.
Yeah.
So because we bought everything prior to COVID, everything went up, obviously, like everybody knows. And we just got rid of everything and moved to the States. We sold everything and now we're just chilling in the US.
I love that, man. Love that. Yeah. When my wife and we've driven to Seattle a few times.
Yeah.
And we did a giant circle around the Pacific Northwest. We started in Edmonton, drove to Calgary over to like Banff into the Kootenays, down through Sandpoint, Idaho. Sandpoint, Idaho, in through Spokane or whatever the fuck you want to say.
Spokane.
And then up into Seattle where we stayed for a few days. And we were going to go that way home, but we're like, you know, we just want to get back to Canada, right? So we went straight north of Vancouver. We went to Richard Stevensville or whatever it is to check out like where they film a lot of stuff. And we went and checked out like the set of that show fucking Once Upon a Time. And then we drove home. We went down the Coquihalla into Jasper, and then home. Right?
Beautiful drive, isn't it? Circle. Beautiful drive.
Absolutely stunning. Exhausting, but stunning.
Exhausting. Yeah, because you actually got to pay attention to the road.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I couldn't catch and drive
you always got to pay attention to the road, but it's not like you're driving forever. You know what I mean? You can fall asleep, you can fly. As long as you got the vehicles, the rental car vehicles, or vehicles that keep you within the white lines, like you just go on. You know what I mean? You can just fall asleep.
Come on, boy.
But no, driving through there, man, it's insane. Yes, go on. There's nothing wrong with it. No. But driving through there, man, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
So
it's absolutely beautiful, man.
So how do I say that's pretty nice?
Yeah.
How do I say that's pretty nice?
That's pretty nice. Oh gosh, is that was on one of the videos I was making, wasn't it?
I don't know if that's one. I was just coming up with something off the top.
You're just coming up with it. I don't know. Like I would just say that's right on, boy. I would say that's pretty nice, isn't it? I'd say honestly, what they would say would be like that's pretty nice, isn't it? Like there's some Newfoundlanders that like that live along the ocean, like that have really thick accents, man.
Yeah,
like,
I worked with some of them.
They'd be able. There was one guy I follow on TikTok. I don't follow him anymore, but I don't even know if he's on TikTok anymore. But he had a really thick accent, man. It was like next level. Like even I'd have a hard time trying to hear him, like trying to pick out what he's saying. But yeah, you get some lingo. Like there's a huge amount of words that could mean different things. Like even just the word yes by, it could mean it's like a wide range. You know what I mean? You could say it for almost anything. You know?
Yeah.
It's Newfoundland language is like honestly, it should be taught in Harvard. You know?
Oh, dude, Newfoundlandese. I made a video one time, and it was like I was sitting in the truck, and it's like when your Newfie coworker's going on about something. Right. And it's like, I'm just like, what the fuck? Right. Like, you know? And then I made another video with that sound. It's like, I think dirty, disgusting animals. I mean, I'll pet them and stuff, but you know, and it's like, what's it like working with Newfies? And the video blew up. It did really well. And a few Newfies were like, you just lost a follower. And I was like, oh, shit. You know, like, I'm thinking about posting it again, actually. You know?
Yeah, you should, man. Like, I don't know. Like, it's all for good fun. Like, but see, I always grew up like where I went, because I went to college in Saskatchewan. So, like, they caught on to my accent right away. And so they used to always make fun. They'd be like, say this, say that. You know, I'd be like, we're going to theater, you know, tonight. And they're like, theater? They're like, you mean theater? Like little things like that. It's like, they're like, say dad. I'm like, dad.
Fodder.
They're like, dad. Yeah, fodder. Yeah, it's funny, man. The best is like when you get to the airport, whenever you're flying home, you know, from being from the patch. I used to fly 2 weeks in, 2 weeks back for Newfoundland. You knew when you get Toronto, you know, because they're all in their FXR gear. They're all wearing their Skidoo jackets or camo. You can spot a Newfoundlander a mile away in the Toronto airport. You just know. You just know when you're heading to that gate, you can see them coming, eh? Because they sit down and they're sitting down on their bench and they're like,
best kind.
Yeah, best kind. They're like, boy, did you get your moose license or what? But he's like, no, boy, I never got her this year. And like, they're just like, that's all, I got a funny story actually. So my brother-in-law was flying back to my wife's and I wedding, and it was in Norris Point, but he was flying back. He's never been to Newfoundland before. So he got in Toronto airport, and he got to the gate where I was heading to Deer Lake, Newfoundland. He sat on the plane, and he was like, Scotty, he's like, man, I got to tell you the story. I was like, well, what's up? He's like, I was sitting next to these Newfoundlanders and look at this video that I made. There's this guy, there's two fellers. It was really hot in the cabin. And he looked over his one buddy. He's like, Jimmy boy. He's like, so fucking hot in here, isn't it? He's like, yes, my son. He's like, and the stewardess came down the aisle. He's like, Mrs., can we roll down the windows in this or what? They're like 30,000 feet up in the air. Like, can we roll down the windows in this or what? It's like some fucking kind for sure. Oh yeah, they are, man. They really are. They're kind too. It's like
too bad they all fucking vote liberal. Those bastards.
Yeah, I know, man. I know. But I mean, I don't know. I don't think they will now though, because they're starting to realize now.
What's that? Done. He's done.
Oh, he's done, dude. He's
done. Like fucking hung him up to dry the other day. Did you see that?
Yes, man.
Oh my god.
He's like his what's the face the minister of the accountant girl, the finance girl. She just like she's like, I can't take this shit anymore. She's like, I'm done.
Like he was gonna fire her or remove her from her finance post, and shuffle his cabinet because like that's matters. But he was going to shuffle his cabinet, remove her. And she's like, well, before you can remove me, by the way, I fucking quit. And here's a fucking expose letter that says you're a piece of shit. And this
should go on Jordan Peterson. Man, she should go on Jordan Peterson. That would be great.
Oh, I hope she does, dude. But like, she's still, she's still a liberal. So I don't think.
I know she is. I get that. But it's just like the guy is like, I don't know, man. Like I like sometimes like for even myself, like if you're doing something wrong or you make a mistake, you look at yourself. You know what I mean? Like you're trying to look at others, you look inward. You know what I mean? Like what can I change? Something's not working. What can I change about myself? Yeah, he's a nurse. He just like he thinks like, and the country is just like so messed up, man.
Did you know?
Like you come down to the U.S., man? It's like I paid $3.19 a gallon for my gas, which is basically $1 a liter.
We're basically paying 8 gallons here.
Yeah, it's mental. And like the groceries, man, I went back to Newfoundland. I'm like, man, I make okay money. You know what I mean? My wife makes okay money too. And we're like, this shit's expensive, man. Like chicken breast is $23.99 a pound. Or sorry, a kilogram, sorry. I'm like, are you shitting me? And I'm like up here, man, it's like $4.99. You know what I mean? American still, but still, you work out like it's still cheaper. And then we were over in Italy too for my brother-in-law's wedding. And even over there, man, the groceries, like mind you, gas is expensive, whatever. But the groceries are cheap. Like it was good. Like it was okay. You go to Canada, you're like, holy fuck, man, this is insane.
Hey, man, gotta love that free healthcare though, am I right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, you gotta go like stand in the lineup for 1,000 people. You're like,
you know what, man? You know what? I got a third ball. I'm gonna go get some blood work done. You know what? I'll see you in like 2 months. And then, after 2 months later, your blood work's done. You're like, holy cowboy, I'm back. Yes, bye. And then like, oh, what'd the doctor say? Oh, nothing. I got to wait another year for them to call me back to tell me what's up. I'm dead by then,
Oh, man. I'm telling you, man, it's fucked, man. I don't know. But I guess, I don't know. I guess we'll just have to hope it fixes itself. I don't know. All you can do is vote, man. That's all you can do.
The federal budget was supposed to be the deficit. Was supposed to be at like $40 billion. 40.1 billion was the goal, right?
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, maybe closer to 50. And then Chrystia Freeland's like, bro, it's gonna be like 60 something billion.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, yo, the cost of tax and spend is outrageous, right?
It's outrageous.
Ben, fucking those. Did you hear about the tax holiday we were supposed to get?
Yeah, I know that's
aren't coming anymore. As soon as Chrystia Freeland put her letter down, that was canceled.
Oh gosh. Yeah. Like that was when I first heard that, I was like, are you kidding me? I thought it was a joke, right? Like first time I seen it on social media, I literally thought somebody was making fun. Or like it was one of those memes that whatever. It's like fake news, right? I just thought it was fake. And then I was like, wow, he's actually said this. I was like, oh, right on.
Are you allowed to vote in the US?
No, I'm not, unless I'm a citizen, which I'm not.
But your
Yeah,
wife,
I don't have a green card right now. I'm still applying. I'm trying to get my green card and all that for dual citizenship, but that takes forever, man. It takes forever.
How long you been trying? How long have you been there for?
Not very long. I would say 6 months, probably. Or no, actually less than that. Actually, maybe 4 months.
So what? You live there and then you fly back, right?
Yeah, just head to Vancouver. Like I technically I still live in Saskatchewan, but my wife works here, so I'm back and forth. Because I'm not technically allowed to. I'm only allowed to be here for 6 months, but because I work 2 weeks on. Yeah, so because I work 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, I can stay down here, right?
So, hey, if CSIS is listening, Chris Barber was on my podcast, so the feds do listen to the podcast.
Oh, so, nice.
You know, like you gotta be careful. You know, like hey.
Oh no, but that's all legal. Like because I'm definitely down here less than half the year. So which is good, and I'm back and forth Saskatchewan, Newfoundland. So I would say I spend probably anywhere like my plan is like anywhere from 4 to 6 months, which is allowed if you're an immigrant.
Yeah.
And then you have to apply for a green card. Or if you get a job down here, like if you get an offer letter, then you can go to the board people and be like, hey, you can give them your certificate and stuff like that. And they can basically then give you, I forget the name of it, but you can then live down here for 3 years. But yeah, I mean, we still got a place in Saskatchewan that like I stay at that I still like rent. And, we're just trying to figure it out. It's just a long process, man. It's
whereabouts in Saskatchewan?
Swift Current.
Oh, hey, man. Shout out to hey, you live right by Chris Barber, right?
No way.
Yeah, Chris Barber's from Swift Current too.
No way.
Man, I did a lot of work in Swift Current over the last couple of years.
Yes,
I stayed at the what was that? The Travel Lodge or whatever it was over
the Travel Lodge,
Japan there. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
That's why.
Swift Current is deadly, man. I love Swift Current.
No, stop it. Swift Current is okay, but that fucking highway, if you miss a turn on that highway, you're screwed.
Oh yeah, no man. Keep messing that, you're gone. Or you're going the other way. You gotta book her around then.
It's so bad they got a Tim Hortons on
yeah, I know, it's so true. Yeah. Man, what I love about Swift, man, in the summer it's always hot. It's always warm. It never rains there, which is not good for crops, but whatever. But the golf course also, like, because I enjoy golfing. The golf membership at Elmwood was dirt cheap this year. I think I only paid like $1,000, and you got a year's membership. There's just everything. Like the people there too. All my friends there I went to college with, like they all like to hunt and fish and golf, and they're basically just like Newfoundlanders, and they're all family-oriented people. They all got kids and just the people there are awesome. I just love Saskatchewan so much. Like my one buddy, Mike Arling, shout out Mike if he's listening to this, but he, he'd take me ice fishing all the time, and we go fishing on the landing, like the Saskatchewan landing. And man, we go fishing all the time, catching walleye. It was just such a good lifestyle there. So I kind of miss it actually. And childcare is like $200 a month, man. That's one good thing I'd say with Liberal. You know what I mean? Even though it makes the wives go to work easier, which is what they want for taxpayers' money. I get that. But childcare is like $200 a month. Down here, man, it's like $1,500 a month. That's minimum. That's US. Crazy. That's US too. That's not even.
That's nuts. Shout out to the Swift Current though, and the Burger King or the Burger Queen. The Burger Queen.
The Burger Queen, hey,
Dairy King, isn't it? The Dairy King, isn't it?
It's you're talking about the ice cream shop?
Yeah.
The ice cream shop. It's Dairy King. Yeah, Dairy King. Yeah.
And then there's that restaurant downtown, Arcopolos or whatever it's called.
Yes, the pizza place.
That pizza place downtown. Shout out to the Arcopolos pizza place.
If you guys are listening, man, we order there every Thursday, man. We get their what's it called? The AK special.
Yeah.
AK special. Oh man, I don't even breathe when I eat that shit. I'm pretty sure I just inhale it. Like I don't. Yeah, just. I don't even chew it, man. I just fucking swallow it whole. It's so good.
That's what? Like, yeah. My wife can't chew. She's good. Yeah. No. Never mind. I lived in Saskatoon for a couple of years back in the day.
Oh yeah, Saskatchewan.
Saskatchewan, ladies.
You know what's funny, man? So I made a comment about Saskatoon in one of my videos. I said he's from Saskatchewan. I forget which video it was, but I was reading the comments, and one lady's like, it's more like Stabitude now. I was like, oh shit. I was like, damn.
I lived in Oakland City for a while, dude. Yeah.
Apparently it's gotten pretty bad there. Like even when we drove there was a lot more, like there was more homeless and stuff downtown.
That's liberal policies. And I live downtown Edmonton, and
so
downtown
I kind of see.
Like
yeah. So then after I read that, when I was down there quite a bit, I started noticing these things. I was like, shit, you know what? I don't remember this when I was a kid, because I went to college in Swift Current a long time ago, like back in whatever it was, 2009 or something, or 2008. But it wasn't like that then. You know, even Swift Current, it was, you know, it was good. And now there's a lot of different people there.
I'm from Hamilton, Ontario originally.
Oh, okay. Hamilton, yes.
I remember back in the day, of course, you're Newfie. Of course, you have a Toronto story about working or some shit.
Yes.
You all do. You all have spent time in Toronto.
Oh, yes.
Toronto. Yes, sir. So I remember playing ball hockey with my friends, right? And I'm from the West Mountain in Hamilton. So, like, you know, East Mountain in Hamilton. And, you know, East Mountain had money back then. It was like very nice place to be. And we were playing ball hockey, and I remember the first time I ever seen hints of like outside of the East Mountain. And, you know, like I'd go downtown and visit friends and my mom and shit and see that shit, but never on my block, you know? This lady comes up the street wrapped in a carpet, and we're just like staring. What is this? Right. And then after that, you started seeing more and more of it. Right. Yeah. And now Hamilton is like every other major city in Canada, right? Like tent city everywhere, you know, and man, they're getting pretty elaborate with those tent cities, dude. Like, there's a homeless encampment in Edmonton. They just shut down. I don't know why. They were leaving people alone. I didn't know that. They were in the River Valley. And they had running water. They had power. They had generators. They had power. They had everything they could need to stay warm and enjoy themselves. And they're
probably a casino too. Fuck, they probably had a casino.
Probably a fucking casino. Can you imagine that?
Casino.
They
no, sir, this makes no sense. They have no money. No, we're gonna pay one.
Well, that's how they're gonna get out of the. Yeah. It's been pretty wild, dude. You know, the homeless population. Every winter, people die on the streets from, you know, being cold, but also they start fires or they run electricity into their tents. It starts a fire and they die, right? And you know, I try to, you know, when I was younger, I used to have a lot to say about it. Yeah. But as I get older and I start to realize life's expensive, and you know, we're all one bad month or two away from being in that spot, you know. Yeah, that's true. And you know, you show compassion and shit like that. I don't like that, you know, they turn to drugs and alcohol substances to put a Band-Aid on their situation. I don't like it, but I understand it. Yeah, I get it. You want to like completely just disassociate and be blind to your situation, right?
It's almost like virtual reality, right? Like you want to just be out. You want to be, you know, you're there in body, but you're not there in mind.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't like it, but I understand it. You know, like, I never understood why my dad was always miserable and just, you know, cranky, right? Yeah. And then I got older, and now I work fucking 100 hours a week, and now look at me, Mr. Miserable and Cranky Jr., right? Like,
man, life is not easy, man. Like, you gotta wake up every day and just fucking live, man. Like, it's hard. Like, it's not easy. I can understand why people get, I mean, it's part of being human. You know, you're going to be depressed sometimes. You're going to be, it's human nature, man. And when life is going really good for you, really good, you're like, damn, this feels good. You know that there's going to be a curveball thrown, and you got to look out for that. You just got to be ready for that mentally. Be like, you know what? Life's going really good right now. I'm going to mentally prepare myself for a curveball. Yep. You know what I mean? Because shit does happen, man. Life is an absolute roller coaster, and a lot of it's just decisions you make. Like, and you just gotta, if you make a mistake, man, just keep pushing, man. Just like whatever, learn from it and move on. I tell my kids that all the time. You know, instead of asking your kids like, you know, what good things did you do today in school or something? You know, ask them, you know, did you make any mistakes? And they'll say, yeah, I made this. I'll be like, oh, what'd you learn? You know what I mean? Like, because shit's going to happen all the time. It's just life, man. But it's hard, man. It's not easy. I mean, you know what it's like working with passion, being away from family, trying to find time to do what you do now. I mean, good for you for doing it, but it's not easy, man. It's time consuming.
Ben,
You know?
I put 100 hours a week into work, and then I probably put 100 hours a week into social media, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and then I got to sleep. I got to be a dad. I got to be a husband, and you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I got a lot that I got to do on top of that already, right? And
Yeah.
it's you're right. Everyone like always, you know, I'm always in a good mood. I'm always laughing. I'm always happy, right? And everyone's
Yeah.
like, why are you always so cheerful? Because man, life's too short, and you know, I'm waiting for the shoe to drop. Everything's good
Yeah.
right now. When everything's good, I'm still happy and cheerful, and you can have a
Yeah.
good time. But when everything's bad, you know it's bad because I'm extra cheerful and happy. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just
Yeah.
like singing songs and like living the
Yeah.
dream and fucking, you
Yeah.
know, like happy, right? Happy, happy, happy. And they're like, man,
Yeah.
you must be so good. I'm like, no, I'm not. This is dying on the
I'm just going crazy, bro. I'm just going crazy.
Hold on. I gotta press the gas pedal on this truck. I'm in the back of a crew truck right now, and it's gonna shut off here in a minute.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. Go press the gas.
Tell us. Oh shit. Tell us a little bit about what you do for work, man, and where you're from and whatnot.
Yeah, man. I'll definitely do that.
What do you do for work?
Yeah, I'll definitely do that. Yeah, man. So my job is basically is I went to school for power engineering. So yeah, man. When I first started my career, I worked as a building operator in Suncor with a company, and I was basically just working in the camp. So I would like even plunge toilets. I'd look after their HVAC systems. And I'd had to sign permits with them. It wasn't with Suncor, but it was like with a different like contracting company. And I think I had my 4th class then, power engineering, and then I finally finished my 3rd. And I had actually job offer with Suncor to be an employee as an operator. And
what year was this?
This was, I think, 2011 maybe.
Okay.
2010 maybe. God, I don't even know. Maybe 2010. But I had a job offer to go with Suncor, and man, I sat down the interview. Man, it was like the worst interview ever, and not on my part. I thought I did well, but so the guy that was interviewing me, he's like, yeah, you're not going to be able to move around at all. This is a union, man. He was just so negative toward his own company. He's like, no, you'll just stay in the same place. I was like, okay, no worries. Like, you know, I'm here to do whatever. I'm just a peasant. Please hire me, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you know, it's not really a good company. And he was just like on and on. I was like, holy, I was like, man, this is cooked. I was like, I don't even know what to think of this. And come to find out later from guys that knew this guy, he was going through a divorce at the time. And he had some bad things going on in his life because I actually met his children at the next place that I went to work at, which is hilarious. Anyway, so then my buddy he messaged me. He's like, "Hey man, Synovus Energy is hiring guys, but there's just contract." So I actually had the job offer letter sent to me. I could have been a Suncor employee, and I was like, "No, man, I didn't take it because they had an interview. It was just something felt wrong about it." Yeah. And then I went to Synovus Energy as a contractor, and then they basically. I went on there, man. I loved it, man. It was the best place I worked. I like respect my leaders so much there. The crew that I work with were amazing. There's so much fun. A bunch of young guys, and even the older guys were amazing too. And we always did team building things together. We had a laugh. Yeah, I just absolutely loved working there. And then basically, yeah, man, I just like. Yeah, I was just, and after 3 months, I got hired on full time there as actual full-time employee, and it was great. But then I needed the 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off to move back to the Rock, like we always do.
Rock back.
So then I took a job at ConocoPhillips instead and moved back to the Rock. Okay. And yeah, and then quit there, went to PetroChina, and yeah, now I'm actually going to CNOC next week. I actually got a new job as well.
So not far from here, man. That's Anzac, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm going. That used to be the old. What was it? What was the plant?
Next in Long Lake?
Yes, next in Long Lake. So I'm going there. So which is a bit like different for me, man, because my last job I had, it was good. Like it was good. I had a pretty like I was in the control room there, and I operated all the control room panels. So I didn't go outside much, which is what I liked. I just like being on the panel. And so this new job, I'll be outside, which is okay, but it's just a bit different. I just felt like it was a really good job there, but it was like, I don't know, after a while, because you're not doing much there, it's kind of slow pace that gets a bit of anxiety. It gets a bit weird. It kind of messes with you a little bit. So I feel like I need to go somewhere where there's harder work.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's weird. It's like, you know, why would you give up that job? But
so I was on a vac truck for 7 years as a swamper. And like I said, you know, shout out to fucking vac haulers and swampers, man. Dirtiest job in the patch. You know what I mean?
Shout out to that, man.
Tedious as fuck. You know, wore the oil field every day, worked like 40 hours at a time on the end of a wash or a vac hose, building out of rig tanks, working on call 24/7, you know, finishing up an 18-hour day, being like, yeah, going back to eat and go to camp. Dispatch calls, hey, I need you to stop and do this job on the way back, or just sit down to eat and be like, hey, man, I know you just got back, but it's time to go again, you know, on call 24/7, never knowing, you know, 6 weeks at a time. I was gone for at the beginning of the pandemic, gone for 6 months at a time, home for 20 days in 2 years. It was hard, you know.
That's hard.
Out in the elements, spraying water in -50, you know, fuck it, man. The last 7 years were hard on my mental health. I could tell you that much right now. I'm a better person for it. Way better person for it, man. It taught me a lot about myself, you know. And then I got offered this job. I'm on a 20 and 10. They fly me in. I'm back in my room by 7 o'clock every night. The podcast was founded. And I just surpassed episode 100. I do an episode a week every Tuesday. This will be like 104, 105, something like that. Episode 100 just passed. And the first 100 episodes, give or take the last couple because I was here, was built up based off of a really hard schedule. Like, hey, man, you want to do a podcast? Yeah, man. Does this night work? Yeah, let's do it. Well, that night comes and goes, and hey, I'm in the middle of a rig move or a rig out. I can't. Well, when can you? Well, I'll probably still be here tomorrow night, so I don't know. You know, and we made it fucking work somehow, you know. And now when I book a time with someone, hey, you want to do a podcast? How does next Tuesday at 8 o'clock sound? I'm there, bud. See you next Tuesday.
You're just there.
I can tell you where I'm going to be. And this is so much better on my mental health. You know, I know where I'm going to be. I'm eating at a certain time. I can plan my evening around that. My boss is like, I didn't think you'd like it coming from Cold Flow. And I'm like, man, are you kidding me? I'm not covered in shit. I'm not breathing in all the toxic chemicals in the planet. The biggest thing is guaranteed 12-hour. I know where I am for 12 hours and no more than that. There is a cross shift coming. I do have the cavalry is on the way.
Yes.
Right? And they fly me in and out, man. I have 20 days on and man. Off.
That's awesome, dude.
I had 12 days
your
off.
family.
My last week was 12 days off. Never had that kind of time off before.
Nice. I can see your boss and he's like writing down. He's like, okay, don't need to give him a raise. He likes his job.
Dude, he knows how happy I am. Plus, I'm straight day shift. I negotiated straight days. I'm like, only day shift. And he's like, I don't do that, man. Last year, I did 8 days and nights. But like,
good for you, man.
To help out, you know. So I was like, all right. But straight days and man, never better, dude. It's been incredible.
Good for you, man. Your wife probably knows it too, and your kids probably, right? Because I mean, you do we do bring our work home with us sometimes, especially like if it's hard work. Like I didn't have to do what you had to do. That sounds horrendous, man. I know the guys you're talking about that have that type of job. I always say like, I don't know how these guys do it, man. Like I really don't. Like it's a lot of work, man. It is a freaking grind.
I'm happy I got to experience that. I like to call that the real oil patch, right? Like I got to experience. I've been in the oil patch for 13 years. I came up with a 5-year plan 13 years ago, right? Yeah. And by the end of this fucking little mini boomerang, it'll be 20, right? So So you know, I didn't come out here for, you know, to push pencils or papers, and I didn't come out here for an easy gig, and an easy gig is not what I found, right? So like, I came out, man, and I got here's what we have, and you're gonna fucking hate it, and you're gonna thank it.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Like you learn a lot about yourself at 2 a.m. when it's -40 and you're in a fucking rig tank and you're spraying water everywhere, getting caked in invert. Dude. You learn a lot about yourself. I'll tell you that.
It makes you tough, man. It must make you tough mentally too.
Yeah.
You know, not only that, I feel like when you go home on days off, it's more special to you. Like, if you know what I mean, because it's more special because you're just working your ass off, and then you get to come home. I mean, still you got house chores and all that shit, 100%. But 100%. you get to appreciate it more. Whereas if you have a boring job or if you're kind of sitting on your ass when you come home, everything, you know, then your home life might be more busy than your work life. So then your home life becomes more stressful than your actual work life. So it's like that balance might be a bit better, you know, especially for your home life a bit. You know?
It's been a lot of fun, you know. I'll give it that, you know. You learn real quick what you will and will not do for $1, you know. And look, true. I learned what I do for a Klondike bar. That's for damn sure. You know?
Oh man, we had this job. We used to use nitric acid to clean our evaps, and for the longest time, guys were just doing it unsafely for the longest time. And then finally, this one crew stepped up and like, guys, this is cooked. Like, we're not doing this no more. We got to change it. Yep. You know what I mean? But the rest of the guys did it. I mean, they got in there. They did the shitty job where you're suited up and it's like plus 30 outside. And you're in like a plastic suit and you're under air. And you're like, you know, you're pouring bottles of water over your head because it's just so nasty because you don't want to breathe that shit in. And it got to a point where it's like somebody was like, like a whole crew was like, we're not doing this no more. This is nuts. You know, this is crazy. Because you do hit that tipping point
20 years ago, right? You couldn't do that 20 years ago, man. You'd all be canned, right? You'd all be
you'd be like, you're fired, you're done.
Yep. We just had a similar experience to that like 2-3 days ago. So I wouldn't have done it if they didn't fuck me over in the morning. But so they decided to have a big safety meeting at 5 a.m. Right. And we don't leave until 5:40. But like we didn't leave camp, but I had to get up a little extra early. I was a little salty about it. And I had to go and go on the Zoom meeting, and they preached safety for fucking half an hour. They preached half an hour. Right. Yeah. And I was just sitting there thinking like, all right, well, the last couple of days haven't been all that safe, have they? Right. Yeah. And, you know, like pressurized hoses with holes in them and shit like that. And like, oh, don't worry. After the Christmas, we'll fix them on Christmas break. And we'll when you guys come back, they'll be fixed. Well, we're like, we're not lasting that long. Right? Like, fuck off with that. And I worked all day that day thinking like this is hell. I got steam in the face and fucking I was like having a shower, right? And I work on a steamer now, right? So it's easy.
Yeah.
It's
a bit easier. Yeah, that's right.
So not as hard, sorry. But so night shift comes in, they saw and they heard what we're going through, and they're like, hey, we're refusing to work until this is fixed. They said they're gonna do it next week. We're refusing to work. You guys got to call and say it too. So I did. I called them. Like I told them what happened. I burned my hand a couple times. They're like, you had an incident and didn't report it. I'm like, not that kind of burn, right? It was a little hot through the glove. Let me tell you that, right? And I'm like, okay. So like, we don't want to do it. So night shift shut her down. We shut her down. By 8 a.m. the next morning, new hoses arrived on site and they were being put on.
Nice.
Yes,
it's funny, man, because you know what? I felt like safety was like, when I first got into this career, safety was, I mean, these companies I work for, you couldn't walk and talk on a cell phone. Like they were like, but now I feel like, I don't know, man, these few other companies I've been to, they're really, like you say, if you bring it up and if it's unsafe, they will adhere to it. But if you keep doing it, they'll just look the other way. They will.
Hey, man, everything is forgiven with enough time too, right?
Yeah.
Remember how back in the day you got blacklisted from the oil sands and that was it? You were not. Right? The labor force these days doesn't call for that. You get blacklisted, you can come back in 6 months if you need to be, if you really want to, and you're short-handed. It's like, hey, shit, that's one more person we can exploit. Get that boy through the gate, you know?
Roll that guy in. He needs coveralls. No, he doesn't need coveralls, man. Just throw him in there.
Oh, shit, man.
No, he doesn't. Nuh-uh. Just give him some codfish. He'll be all right.
So Synovus, you were talking about Synovus. They just bought fucking Chevron.
I didn't even know that, you know. I had no idea.
$6 billion.
Holy smokes. They're really trying to build up all the real estate, hey, while everything's cheap. While Canada is in a slum. Good for them.
Well, Canada's not coming out of that slump. We're heading into like a pretty bad recession year in the new year. It's not looking good. The dollar right now is what
45
or something, $1.45. They're saying that could go as high as $1.80 in the new year.
I know it's bad, man. It's bad, dude. Like that's why I'm like, Canadian dollar, man. I don't know. I'm leaving all my Canadian dollars in Canadian because there's no point transfer to US because if it ever comes back, then you're just screwing yourself. So I'll leave that.
It's like when I get paid in American dollars.
Yeah, that would be nice. You know what? I make us the 51st state, man. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how all that works. I've looked into, but it probably wouldn't be the worst idea. Can you imagine making what you're making now in U.S. dollars, and then
I can claim that I'm First Nation, and
yes.
then I'm not paying taxes either on anything.
No.
And then taxes on overtime on top of saving on tax.
Oh man, God. You know what? As soon as that happens, just go online, start shopping for Escalades, man. Just do it. You know what I mean? You're going to want to get yourself a nice Corvette.
Escalades with a Lamborghini door. Shout out to 50 Cent. Oh
yes,
shit,
that would be sick.
Oh dude, fuck man, that'd be so good.
Yes, man. Oh god, that would be good. I mean, honestly though, it wouldn't be that bad, would it? I don't know. I don't think so. There might be people that have different facts and more information that maybe see why it wouldn't be, but I don't know, man. I'm visiting the US quite a bit here now, and I'm telling you, it is better than Canada. It is better. It is better when you're making US dollars. If you're not, then not so good.
I got a question for you. Do you know what viscosity is?
Yeah, viscosity is the thickness.
The thickness of what? Like, what's viscosity in your own words? Like, what do you know about viscosity?
Like, if it's viscous, so like if the viscous is just how it flows, like if it's too thick or if it's too light, basically, right? Yeah, like if the viscosity is lower, then it just flows easier, right? Because if you add diluent to oil, you know, your viscosity will go down. It'll make it more light, you know.
Yeah.
We have a pipeline spec basically that like we have to hit a certain viscosity number. Yeah. And it's got to be a certain number in order to flow down the pipeline. Yeah. Yeah.
So where I'm going with that is the pipe. I almost said pipeline. Shit.
Yeah.
The podcast is sponsored by the Mudman. The Mudman deals in viscosity, right? He has all cool specialized tools and shit. You know, like they're digitalized now. And the podcast is sponsored by the Mudman, who deals, you know, in all that stuff. You know, for all your laboratory testing equipment and needs, and you know, fucking love that guy, man. You know, he at first he sponsored the podcast. It was supposed to be a 5-episode run, and that was 85, almost 90 episodes, roughly 90 episodes ago, I guess. And you know, he got me a mic and a headset. I needed it. I fucking needed it. Right. And in the last few months, I've been able to get away from the mic and headset because then he provided me with MacBook Pro, which I now record on. Yeah. Nice. And man, what beauty. Man, this podcast has gone like fucking sky's the limit at this point. Move over Joe Rogan. Move over Joe Rogan. Yeah, I'm coming.
Joe who? I don't even know. Joe who, man? Joe who?
Well, Brandy Kelsey did that last week with her new podcast.
Oh, is that right?
She got one and she dethroned Rogan for like an episode or whatever.
No way.
Joe Rogan spent like so many consecutive weeks and months on the number one podcast in the world. And Kylie Kelsey was like, Joe who?
Joe who? That's hilarious.
Well,
like, you know what, man? Like, we need these podcasts because like even what you're doing, because this is because news now, you don't watch it. It's so fake, man. And I get a lot of things that are on Joe could be a bit, you know what I mean? But there's there's for sure, but there's some good things on it. It just gives you an open mind, makes you rethink some things, and makes you research. It's like you don't need to necessarily believe everything that's on the podcast, but maybe it'll open your mind to actually do some research and maybe change your idea on something. You know what I mean? And that's what it's all about, because I mean, back in the day, people used to believe in the news all the time. And God knows Newfoundlanders did, sitting at home watching fucking NTV all day. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Oh, the government's really trying to help us out.
The Mudman deals in the thickness of your load, buddy. You know,
yes.
But the Mudman, how thick is your load? You know,
yeah.
You know? How old are you?
I'm 36.
As a man in your mid 30s, I'm going to be 36 in February. So we're the same age. Yeah, man. Nice. As men in our mid 30s, our loads are never going to be thicker than they are right now, and that's the fucking truth. I know you know.
That's a fact. That. You know what, man? I believe
molasses. I know you are. Like, look at
that. Oh, man, it's like roof tire. You ever tire your roof? You know
Oh yeah. Yeah, don't get that stuck in your mouth. Don't get that stuck.
No, I'm telling you, you're choking for days.
We're talking about our loads or fucking.
I don't know what that. I don't know.
Yeah,
honey, give me another beer. No.
So shout out to the Mudman, man, and then
good for him.
As a guy who been in the patch and blue collar and whatnot. What's the most expensive part of our job, right? Like what do you spend the most money on?
I don't know what I spend the most money on. The money that I take back from the patch. I would say it used to be the mortgage. But
it used to be. Now it's the beer.
Now I don't have any of that, but now it's the beer.
Well, what I was thinking was at work stuff. Like, what do you spend the most money on at work, right? And like for me, it's my boots, right? And
you're talking, yeah.
So the podcast is also sponsored by Brasco Safety and now NWT Safety, which you can get. Yeah, so Brasco Safety is in Sherwood Park and NWT Safety is in Nisku, Nisku, Spruce Grove, and Whitecourt. And if you need new boots, gloves, glasses, hard hat, whatever you want, coveralls are on sale right now at NWT for $75. Nice. They got new waterproof winter parkas and bibs.
Nice.
If you need to save some money on that, I got a code for that now, right? The podcast is sponsored by a couple safety companies, Brasco and NWT. And you use code FROST10, you save 10% on all your gear. Get 10% off on your PPE, man. It's fucking awesome.
Well, it's good, man, that your podcast is able to provide this from these companies to give you discounts.
Yeah, man.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's a way that I said this before on the podcast, as a guy 4 years ago who was like, on the outside looking in, right? I can now be on the inside, have a platform and give back in some kind of way. And that is huge, to younger guys. Like there's a donation bin, a UPP donation bin in camp here. And NWT Safety gave me some brand new equipment, PPE, gloves, hard hat liner, headlamp. To give to the donation bin. Here, give this to your followers, right? Not followers. Put this in the bin, right?
Yes,
and
I got you.
If anybody needs anything, a young guy or whatever, it's cold out. It's your first winter out here. You don't know what you're getting into, right?
It's not cheap anymore, man. It's not cheap anymore. So all those discounts really matter, man. And you're right. Like the safety boots and the gloves are a big one. Most companies I work for, they provide all that except the boots. So for myself, I don't, but there's a lot of guys out there that need it, that have to purchase those things. And no, that's good, man, because it's not cheap, man. What does a pair of safety boots get you at these days? I don't even know.
A good pair, $300.
$300, yeah. So
$300, yeah. I got Baffin White Bears, so
that's
I only get Baffin White Bears. They're $350 easy.
Holy crap.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, and if you're working on a vac truck, I burn through 2 pairs of those a year, right? I spent $600-700 on a pair on boots, right? So, yeah, man. Wow. And so NWT is actually working with me right now. When I go home on days off here, they're going to give me poker chips, a baggie full of poker chips. Nice. And if anyone on site sees me, if anyone, because if anyone on site sees me or you see me walking around anywhere, you ask me about the poker chip, I give you one. It gives you a top tier discount at NWT. And what I was going to do is I was going to take some of those and go to West Ed Mall. And I was going to hide them around the mall. Make a couple videos of me hiding poker chips around the mall.
Yes.
Hey, you find this? Come and get it. Come get your top tier discount at NWT on all your PPE, right? Nice. And fuck, I love that, dude. That's amazing.
That's yeah, that is awesome, man. That's cool, man. You made it that far that these companies are reaching out to you, man. Good for you. Like that is so awesome, man.
Yeah, man. The lady that reached out to me about that, actually, she told me, she's like, you've been in this space for 4 years now, right?
Yeah.
Now these companies are catching up to you, right?
Yeah.
Now they're just getting on board, and this is just the beginning for them, right?
Yes.
Yeah. They see you're established. You've been here for 4 years already. They're coming to see you, right? They're coming. They're going to message, right? So there's going to be a lot more of this in the future, which is kind of cool. I like that, man.
That is cool, man. That is cool. Like I say, I like that hat too. The troll call. The hats are really that are popular these days too. Are the ones with the string across it. If you got a white string,
I got a couple.
It's like a white string across the bib.
I don't like it, but I got a couple Trollco hats that have.
That's a really nice hat. Yeah. It's really nice.
I'm sponsored by them on the internet there, and you use my code FROST10. The Dirty Hands Clean Money gear you save 10% on, right? And the glasses, I got heat waves, shit like that, and Yeah, man. And another one I'm really proud of that's come out. You touched on mental health earlier a little bit, right?
Yeah.
The podcast, there's a lot of onboarding, and I've been saying this a lot. I figured it out. I fucked up hard. I need to go I need to go and get some tax form done or whatever. And we're working on that now, or when I go home. But BetterHelp sponsors the podcast now, or will be sponsoring the podcast in the new year, I guess. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Holy man. Shit. And that's another way that I'm pumped to give back, because mental health in the trades, in blue collar, it's huge, man.
It's huge, man, because there's a big group of us. It's middle class. Yeah. Basically, middle class is what's supposed to run the country. The middle class hard workers, because the whole point of these middle class, you go get an education, you help out the economy, you work for your country or whatever, you build the economy. And middle class, you get an education. That's whatever you do, but that's supposed to be huge. So there should be a large group, like say you're targeting a good amount of people, I would say.
Yeah.
Because the middle class there's a lot of us, man,
Most of us are what used to be the middle class. The middle class used to exist under the current liberal government.
That's a little down now, yes.
Yeah.
Used to be middle class.
I don't know if Pierre Poilievre is any better, right?
I don't know either.
I don't know, dude.
He's going to get into a shitstorm. I think.
Trudeau was not good, but also not as bad as Pierre to be. And it's anger, right? We're doing it out of anger now, where Pierre is just, hey, he's at fault for this, and that, and the next thing. And not all of that is on Trudeau, right? But a good chunk of it is. A lot of it is on some of our conservative premiers. You know what I mean?
Oh, yes, right.
And I am conservative, but I'm not gonna be, blinded by it. I'm not gonna be like, hey man, Danielle Smith is the greatest fucking thing ever. Woo, conservatives.
Yeah, woo, go. Yeah, woo!
Fucking drill, baby, drill, Alberta.
I heard Alberta.
No, bro. Our healthcare in Alberta, dog shit. Thank you, Danielle Smith. And hey, take that however you want it. I don't know, but I'm just, whatever.
Yeah, it's a thing. Everybody's got an opinion, man. It's like Newfoundland healthcare is terrible, man. It's so bad, dude.
It's so bad. Newfoundland? Have you ever seen the Republican Newfoundland TikTok page?
No. Oh, wait a minute. I might have.
You've seen it. If you're a Newfie, you've seen it. I'm not even Newfie, I've seen it.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I have.
It's what's crazy about Canada. Everyone talks about how Quebec doesn't want to be here. Separate. Yada, yada, yada. Man, more than half this country is fractured. Newfoundland never not wanted to sign into Canada. Newfoundland don't want to be here. Newfoundland's constantly beefing with Quebec over who owns Labrador.
Yeah, who owns? Yeah, exactly.
That Newfoundland don't want to be here. Quebec don't want to be here. New Brunswick doesn't want to be a part of Canada.
Yeah.
Manitoba is kind of like that. Hey, you want
to go for a rip, bud?
And then Alberta and Saskatchewan are like the conjoined twins that'll do whatever the other does. Northern BC might as well be Alberta. Yeah. You know what I mean? So
Southern BC is looking at it like it's like an adopted stepchild or something. Like, I don't know.
Hey, bro. For my fucking dude, bro.
Yeah, they're like, I don't know what's going on with that guy. He's like the odd. He's like one of those people that in your life. It's kind of like, oh God. You're like, oh.
That's Uncle Touchy over there.
Like, oh, fucking Brian's here again. Damn it.
Who invited Brian
to the party, guys? Who the hell? Oh.
Yeah.
That's what it's like.
Yeah, exactly. Man, you got to give us start off by saying like I tried to do earlier. Like run us through one of your videos, right? Start from hey, how do you say this? And then your other guy goes you get into it and then
one of those videos. Yeah. My God, I haven't what was that again? Jeez, that was where you start off, it's funny too, because I followed this guy on TikTok. He was does French words and Spanish words that all sound the same, but it does that zoom in and then it goes with the red eyes. So that's where I got the idea from. It's like how do you say I'm seeking employment? And then the Newfoundlander's like, boys, you don't know anybody wants to eat her ting done now, do you? And
that's the one.
And then he's like,
2 days ago, man.
Yeah. And then and then the other one's like, he's like, and how do I say I'm hardworking? He's like, boys, I'm hard at it. And just goes like that. And then he gets this like, and then the character gets this like, you know, where he's having a seizure because he doesn't understand what any of the shit means or why they're even changing it up.
Yeah.
And that's basically Newfoundland, man. Because I had a couple buddies that came back to Newfoundland, never been there before ever, and they couldn't understand a bloody word they're saying, like not a thing. Like nothing. And one of my buddies, Marty Pitt, he's from the coast, like Cowhead, whereas Newfoundlanders like call it Cow Ed. You just leave out the H. And his accent was so thick, man. He'd talk and talk and talk, and the guys would just stare at him, wouldn't understand a bloody word. He's like nothing. And then you just see them standing there, and they'd just be nodding their heads and smiling. They're like, yeah.
Eyes the bars, the bills, the boat, eyes the bars, the sails.
Eyes the sails are, oh man,
eyes
yeah.
That catches the fish and brings them home to lies.
Man, Newfoundland is like it is beautiful though. Like I'll give it like one of the stories, but when I was living back there, like my buddy and I, we buying lobsters, you go to Cowhead and you catch your buddies coming in off the boat. You know, they coming in off the boat with the crates, and there was like 4 crates of lobsters. We're like, okay, we're gonna go buy lobsters off our buddies, and they only charge us like $2 a pound. But the best part of it was, we told our wives that we'll be back in like, you know, a couple hours. We ended up spending like 5.5 hours out there because we helped them unload the lobsters into their shed. You go into their shed, and it was so full of their family history. They had engravings in on the wood on the walls of all their kids and so on and so forth. Yes, and yeah, man, and anyway, so we stayed there for, I shit you not, probably like 4 or 5 hours, smoking darts, just putting the elastic bands on lobster claws, and they were just telling stories about their fishing and telling stories about around the bay, and we were just having the biggest laugh, man. It was such an amazing time. That's Newfoundland in a nutshell, man.
Newfoundland is on the bucket list. You know, Newfoundland. Yeah. I've never been east of Montreal, and Newfoundland is on the bucket list for sure. I want to go to Nova Scotia.
If you go to St. John's, go to George Street. George Street is so much fun, man. I was at the bar one time, and we were all just loaded, and I'll never forget this, but one guy puked all over the bar. He puked all over the front of the bar, everywhere. It's disgusting. The bartender was like, bro, come on, bro. And then he wiped it off with a huge cloth into a bucket or whatever. He put some spray on it, gave the guy another beer.
he's like, hey, man, walk it off. You know, like,
he's like, come on, bro. He was like, go in the bathroom. He's like, come on. He wiped off, gave him another beer.
Fucking Newfoundland, man. Jesus
Christ. Man, it was awesome.
I love these stories, man. I work with a lot of Newfies, you know.
Yeah.
And they've all got like amazing stories to tell about home, right? Back on the rack, you know, rack the rack. Yeah. Oh,
and they're also proud of where they, you know, we're also proud of where they live and everything. And
yeah,
you know, it is a special place. It really is. But you know, for me, it's like, you know, where I'm at a stage of my life, it's kind of like there's more things out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, you're on the island. It's beautiful. It'd be a nice place to go back to if you want to retire back there for family or whatever. But the weather, the winter, the groceries, blah, 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 blah. It's just, there's good living other places, you know. But the people are always so awesome, man. If you can carry that with you, if anything, if you can go there to the island and you can see the hospitality and people treating you fair and everybody just getting along, if you can bring that back with you when you leave, that's the most important thing, I think.
That's beautiful.
They are a special kind of people, I think. They really, really.
Yeah. If just in case anyone is still, you know, listening at this point, you never know. You know, I don't know where they're going to stop off at.
Yeah.
Where can people find you on the socials, man? Like what's your handle, your CB handle?
Honestly, like we talked about the first part there, the only place I'm on right now is TikTok's Scotty Show Time. However, though, after talking to you, when I get time, I will make an Instagram profile and I will put it also on Facebook. So we'll be on there. So stay tuned for that because I want to start getting into that a bit more. Also streaming because I see a lot of people they game and stream online, which would be kind of fun. I grew up in the gaming era, man. I love the game, like whether it's Call of Duty or whatever. Even like I'm a big Formula One fan, so like virtual reality racing for VR is super fun. So I love that kind of stuff. So even to get that set up online, I'll probably do in the future. But you know what it's like, man, the kids and work and everything. It's I mean, like you said, you got to put in 100 hours of work. You got to put 100 hours in to what you want to do to have fun, to progress. And unless you do that, if you don't do that, then how are you gonna, you know? So shout out to you, man, for everything all the time you put in. You know, and also shout out to your wife and your kids for coming on board and supporting you. It sounds like your wife supports you, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, she doesn't mind it most times.
Yeah, when your kids grow up, man, I hope they can really look at this and be like, "Damn, I'm proud of Dad." You know, so
yeah,
I really hope.
Yeah, and you know, I don't know if you ever heard that song. I can't remember how it goes or what it's called, but it's like, I'm taking all these pictures for my kids. Yeah, I'm taking all these pictures for my kids because when I'm dead and gone, they'll always know what Daddy did, right? And, you know, I don't have pictures. I got a lot of pictures, sorry, but like I have a video proof to show what I did, right? Like, hey, man, like when my kids are sitting around with their family one day and talking to their and talking to their children and whatnot, they're like, "This is what your granddad did. This is what I want to be called, granddad or grandfather. I want to grandfather. I want that grandfather, you know, like or granddad." Yeah. Right. So like that's kind of Scottish. So like I'm a little bit Scottish, but so you know, this is what he did. And then they just go down this rabbit hole of me being a complete ass on the internet, right? Like, man.
It's crazy to think. It's crazy to think. I'm going to go down a wormhole, but we don't have to go down there. But it's crazy to think that, man, like 120, 130 years ago, like they were still on horses and shit. Like 140 years ago, like they weren't. Like this is pretty wild. The time we live in, this information age right now, because they're able to do that. Like you said, like when they get older, they will. I mean, I couldn't do that with somebody like a great grandfather. You know, I won't be, because there was no such technology. It's going to be interesting going forward, the things the kids of the kids of the kids of the kids that are going to be able to look up.
Our great grandparents were dying of dysentery on the Oregon Trail, bro. You know, what I mean? And we're here. We played the game that they lived, and then, you know, like the Oregon Trail, and then you know, now you know, we're here, we're leaving a digital trail for them to, you know, go down one day, right? Like I hope they watch this and they know, you know, hey, I tried my best, I did what I could, and I had fun along the way. You know, nice guy, tried hard, loved the game. Phil Kessel.
Exactly. Yeah. Phil Kessel. You're a big hockey fan, then, eh?
Big Maple Leaf fan. Oh yeah.
Oh, you like the Toronto Maple Leafs as well?
Oh yes, boy.
Oh yeah, man. I tell you, Newfoundland is either Boston, Toronto, or Montreal.
Montreal, yeah.
There's only 3 teams in Newfoundland that I know of that people cheer for.
Yeah,
I don't really watch NHL too much myself. Like only for playoffs, I usually do. But just NFL is my thing. I just watch the football. I love NFL. It's like an addiction.
Yeah.
It was funny when you asked me about spending money.
Sorry,
what's that?
No,
I was saying with the boots, we asked me what I spent money on at work, and I was like thinking, like, other than Morse, I was like, oh, at work, I was like, gambling on football.
That's energy drinks, bro. You know.
Oh man,
I just got into them in the last couple months.
Yeah.
Holy shit, bro! Like my piss has never been so fluorescent green.
Really?
Oh, dude, yeah, it's bad.
Damn, it's like clothes in the dark.
Oh, dude, I can melt snow for sure. Like, but no, man. Like, I found my flavor now, though. I've been fucking around with flavors, and I'm a rainbow sherbet kind of guy. And I went to the store here. I'm sure you know which one here I'm talking about. The A&W in Fort McKay.
Yes. Yeah.
I went to the store here and I asked them, like, that rainbow sherbet, you got any cases of that? I'm tired of buying them. And she brings it out. She scans it, $60 for 12. And I'm like, you know what? Like, I'm almost like, who am I? I'm cheap as fuck. And I'm considering it. I'm like, who am I? Who have I become? I'm like, please, sir, you got any more of them needles? You know?
You're like Jones and I'm scratching
your neck. You know? And I was like, nah. And I bought 3, knowing that knowing damn well I'll be back to buy 3 more in a couple more days, right? 3, 6, 9, 12. After 5 days, I might as well have just bought the fucking case, you know?
Oh, that's hilarious. For me, man, it's Coke Zero, man. I don't know, like Coke Zero's like I don't drink a lot of pop or anything, but man, like if I have one, Coke Zero's my go-to.
Yeah, I don't drink pop at all.
Yeah, Coke Zero's like the only thing. Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, fuck, man. I was gonna ask you, like, you know, I don't want to take up too much more of your time, but I was gonna ask you, like, where do you see yourself going in the oil patch over the next, you know, 10 years? Do you plan on being in the oil field that much longer? Where you know, what's your plan? You know, we all come in with a little plan. 5 years, 13 years later, you know, like where do you see yourself?
That's a good question. I don't know. Well, my stage, it was first when I became power engineer, it was just cool to be in the plant. So I made it there. Step 2 was like, okay, to learn the whole plant, made it there. Step 3 was commissioning and startup. So I did commission and startup at the ConocoPhillips plant, and I had commissioning startup experience. Great. Then I was like, the first time I ever seen a plant, I seen the guys in the front of all the computer screens, the power engineering. I was like, man, it'd be cool to do that job. And so this young kid doing it, his name was Nathan Winter. He was 23 years old. I was like, how the hell does this kid know how to do this shit? I mean, this is crazy. There's so much clicking and whatever, and he's in control of it all. So it's like, I want to get there. Did that already, and then it's like, I already know all that. So now, did the commissioning, did the operator, did the control room. I think the next step for me would be, whenever you start a new job, you don't want to be that guy that's too motivated because it pisses people off. You don't want to be that guy that's kind of like, you want to be part of the guys because you want to earn their respect too. You want to be, you just want to be part of the guys, and not piss
you want to know your shit and seem a little motivated, but you also just want to be like, hey, you know what? I'm just gonna put my feet up on the desk and relax for a little bit. This is fun for me.
Yeah. So I think where I'd like to get is, if I get to the point where people respect me enough to think I'd be okay to do the job, would be finally just to get into leadership and just be a leader and then manage a group of people. I think would be cool because I haven't done that.
Golfing at 2:00 on a Thursday,
Yeah. And you want to go straight days like yourself. Like I would like.
You want to go to the fucking casino at 1:00 on a Friday.
I want to fucking play roulette, man. I want to go to a casino, dude. I learned to play craps the other week and went out to the casino with the brother-in-law. It was the most fun, man. Just playing craps. Like I was rolling the dice, and people are going to think like I'm just a degenerate gambler. But hey, I do like to gamble.
Don't forget the alcoholic part.
Yeah. But man, I was rolling the dice and like I hit it 10 times. And everyone around the table is like freaking out, like, yo. And then like one guy I found out was from Newfoundlander. He's like, let's go, Newfie. He's like, let's go, Newfie. And then like everyone was winning money, man. We're up so much money. Yeah. Fast forward, I lost all my money. So I went home with nothing.
Well, babe, I know you love me and all, but how much do you love the kids?
Yeah, dude, that's like literally my life. Like it's hilarious, but you know what it's like to be a father, man. It takes like full time, but it's fun, man. Like I brought my kids swimming today. We went to the pool. We're always doing stuff together. The kids take up all my time, basically. That's why I don't post very many videos and stuff, because normally I'm just like hanging out with kids, and by the end of the night, it's like I'm so tired. The only time I can think of TikToks is when I'm at work. Oh, yeah. When I'm at work, that's when I have the most time.
Yeah. How old are your kids?
Well, they're 14, 12, and 3.
Oh, jeez. Look at you.
All girls, too. All girls.
Shit. I have 2 girls. They're
you have 2 girls?
7 and 4. Almost 5.
7 and 4. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Fun ages. My 4-year-old, I watched a video tonight. My kids are playing the PlayStation together. And my oldest beat my youngest, and my youngest turns around with the controller and starts wanting to like. I thought she was gonna break it over her head. We're all afraid of the youngest. She's going to jail one day, and it's gonna. Be, I feel sorry for her cellmate. Don't drop the soap. It's coming. She walks in with a fucking rubber dildo on, like, hey, I shouldn't be talking that way.
Oh, fuck that. But man, you can always tell, like, because your kids, you can tell they have such different personalities between each one, eh? Like they're all different, but they're all unique in their own way.
Too, right?
Yeah. Like the one knows, I know she swears all the time. I just know it, right? Like even when she was like 3 or 4 years old, she was like trying to put on a seatbelt in the truck, and she's like, this fucking seatbelt, and we're like, what? But we actually kind of laughed because it just kind of came out of nowhere, Yeah.
But every time, every time I'm on the phone with my boss, they're like, who's that? I'm like, it's my boss. And like, depending at my other job, they're like, that's Terry? Yeah. Hey, Terry, go fuck yourself. Like, whoa. Hey, trust me, they didn't hear that from me. Okay. I never once said that.
That's hilarious. Go outside and go fuck yourself.
Oh, yeah. Anytime they're in the washroom, I'm like, what are you doing? They're like, taking a hot shit. Right? Like, okay. Cool. And they're like, can you come wipe my ass? I'm like, I wipe my own ass, like.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Sounds like you need a whole different TikTok for them alone.
Holy shit. Buddy, they've been in a couple of my videos before. They have a good time. I'm trying to get my daughter, my youngest daughter, more involved in my podcast too. So
yeah. My oldest daughter said, "Daddy, if you get over 100,000 followers, then I'll be in your TikTok." I was like,
"What are you at? What are you at?"
I think I'm at 25K right now.
Oh shit! Oh, you got.
But I haven't posted much either. I try to think of things that make people laugh, they're relatable. So it takes me a bit of time, and then I go to my iPhone in my notes, and I might be at work and something pop in my head, and I'll do an Eminem lyrics script kind of thing. You know what I mean? I just think of shit and I put it in my phone, and I'm like, okay, and then I'm like, I don't know if that's funny or not. And then it's funny though. Do you ever find that sometimes when you post something, you're like, it's not going to get any views or it's not going to hit? Oh, yeah. But then it hit. You're like, what the fuck? Oh, yeah. I didn't think. Is that weird?
My first million view video, I posted at 2 on a night shift, and it had nothing to do with work. I'm in the vac truck in my coveralls, and I'm like, do y'all ever stop to think about how weird it is having siblings? You spend the first 15 years of your life just hating each other, and then one day you wake up and you're like, man, this motherfucker, all right, and 1.5 million views. I'm like, what?
Because it's relatable, because it hits a lot of people emotionally, because it can relate to people. But then like you said, you think about it after, like, well, that relates to a lot of people because everybody thinks that way. So everybody's liking it because you hit that string. You hit that string in them that are like, oh damn, that's me. That's hilarious.
Well, I made a video. I made a video that did really well on Instagram and Facebook. Yeah. Actually, Facebook, it has almost 2 million views on it.
Nice.
And then on Instagram, it's got a couple 100,000. On TikTok, it's got a couple 100,000. And then I roll down the window of the steam unit. Right. Yeah. I'm wearing my hat, my safety, and my heat waves. And it's like when you return to Fort Mac a few years later, right? And it's like,
oh, I see this one. I think.
Who's your daddy? Right?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I was just and I don't like posting shit. I don't like talking about drugs and alcohol in the patch. Yeah. I'm trying to not show. I don't want to show that side. I don't think that shit's funny, and I don't want to glorify it, like drugs, alcohol, cheating, and shit like that. You can find that anywhere you go. Anywhere. People like to put a spotlight on the oil field about it. Exactly. And I'm like, no. But so I made that video and I sat on it. I'm like, I don't feel right about it, right? Because it just feels wrong, but it's funny, right? Yeah. And so I'm like, you know what? I showed my buddy, and you might know him. He's a petroleum engineer, worked for Suncor as well, or at one point. And he's like, that tracks, fucking post it. I post it, fucking takes off everywhere. I'm like,
that's hilarious. It was good of him to say that.
Do you know who Gord Kitely is?
No, it doesn't ring a bell.
Okay, he has a podcast too called the Second Act Podcast.
Nice,
super swell dude. He listens to this, so I have to talk nice about him. So, yeah.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
Nice guys. Podcast is great, phenomenal. Go find it. Actually, the Second Act Podcast, man, great podcast.
Okay, I'll definitely have to check it out, man. I'll definitely have to check it out.
He's had some big names on there. Rick the Temp.
Yeah, Rick the Temp.
Fucking Scott Oak, lot of musicians. Paul Langlois from the Tragically Hip. He's got a lot of good people.
Shit. Yeah, good for him, man. That's awesome, dude.
He's about 150 episodes deep here, so
nice. God,
I
have to look at this whole. I can get more into this.
Before we wrap this up, I like to ask one more question, right? Just kind of end things. But I want to say, at the time of this recording, it's not even Christmas yet. But the night this episode drops, happy fucking New Year to all you degenerates there. December 31st, this podcast comes out. So,
nice.
Happy New Year. I hope 2025, is it? 2025? Yes. I hope 2025 is your year. And if it's not, then,
learn from it. If it's not your year, man, learn from it. Move on, man.
Learn from it. If 2024 sucked, it was a direct reflection of how you lived it. So fucking suck it up and do better.
You probably got to look at yourself. You're probably the problem, man. That's what you got to look at.
The fucking problem. Yeah, exactly.
Stop blaming others, man. Look at yourself.
Yeah. Fuck Trudeau. It wasn't his fault, but fuck Trudeau.
It sucks, man, but you got to do it. I know, man. It's crazy. I can't believe it's going to be 2025, man. I hope
2025.
I hope there isn't anything crazy bad that happens in the world in 2025. But,
we're already off to a bad start because some of the series over.
I hope there's no nuclear war.
Yeah. Hey, no nuclear war is where the
nuclear war, please. Yes.
No nuclear war. Yeah. So, what was I going to say about that? Fuck. I don't
New
even
Year's.
Happy fucking New Year to all you degenerates.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. One day you're sitting there chilling. You're like 14. It's 2005. You blink, you're 36 in 2024, like or
So true.
2025, right? And it's like, man, what the fuck did this happen? You have 2 kids. One day you did okay. This is a better way to say it. You didn't blink. One day in fucking grade 10 math class, you disassociated and you fucking snapped 2 and you're covered in invert at 2:00 in the morning. And you've got 2 kids running around your house destroying it. And a wife that's like, do you want eggs for breakfast when you're home? Or like, what are we having? You know, and it's like, all right, you know.
You know what really hit me, man? I got to tell you the story before we go quickly. But what really hit me is that we got friends that have kids that are 18, okay? That are kids at 18, 19. So it hit me. This guy, Keaton is his name. He started with us not too long ago. And so he introduced himself. I'm like, Keaton, I'm like, damn, this motherfucker looks young. You know what I mean? I'm like, dude, how old are you? He's like, I'm 18. I was like, then it hit me, man. I was like, oh shit. Like you said, blink of an eye, man. I used to be that 18-year-old. I used to be the youngest, and it didn't even faze me how old I was getting in the workforce. And not that 36 is old, because there's a lot of people there that are 45 right now and be like, shut up, dude, you're 36.
I gotta hit the truck again. Hold on. Keep talking.
Yes.
I hear you.
Yeah, man, it really hit me. I was like, holy smokes, this guy is 18. And you know, I'm working with friends of mine that have kids that age. You know, it's a bit cooked. Like I'm like, this is nuts.
You know, when I see friends with 18-year-old kids, and I look at pictures of me 18 years old with like pimply face and fucking bad hair, right? And you know, I was like 40, 50 pounds lighter. You know, camp food will do that to a guy.
100%.
Dude, right to the shitter. That's what took me the other night. But you know, when I see pictures of that, man, and then I see me now, I'm like, fucking time fucks us all, dude. Like it does. So time fucks us all dry, like up the poop chute.
It does, man. And it's right up the shit spreader, man. I'm telling you that right now. It's
rode hard and put away wet. You know?
Yeah, it's true, man. I try to like both my brothers are I can learn a bit from my brothers, and shout out to them too, but they're both especially my middle brother, he's a bodybuilder. So he's actually lives in Regina as well. So as far as like nutrition and how to work out and how to do these things, I got all that. Not that I'm like crazy or anything, but I kind of know how to keep a decent form because of them. And because there's so much too, because most people, when they go to the gym, they're like, they don't know what to do, or they're just kind of, they don't know what they should eat. But, and luckily these guys looked into it because I'm so close with them. Both my brothers, we're basically best friends, but they know all this stuff. And you can tell, because when you look at them, it's not like you're looking at somebody that's giving you advice that looks shitty. Like these guys are cut and they're massive, and they're like, they do a good job. They know what they're talking about. They've done their research. They know what they're into.
I'm not used to be. I do some bodybuilding now, actually. Like I'm
is that right? Nice.
In the middle of it. Yeah, man. Body by Krispy Kreme, dude. It's fucking
yeah.
Fucking building that body, boy. You know,
circles of shape, right?
Pretty much, bud. You know,
I'm in shape, motherfucker. I'm circle.
Yeah. I got just one more question I got to ask you there, man. And I like to wrap the podcast up by asking this at the end of every episode.
Of course.
You know, Mount Rushmore has 4 of the most influential people in history on it, right? Like, if you could have your own Mount Rushmore, 4 people that you look up to, inspire to be, or that inspired you, who would they be and why?
Oh yeah, that's a good question, man. You know, I'll be honest with you, man. I didn't really think about that. People inspire me. I just kind of look at myself, man. I just try to beat myself. Like I just try to make changes.
Got you.
Yeah, you know, I just kind of like, I'm more like, I'm my own person. Like, sure, you can say your parents and things like that, or I don't know many celebrities that I really look up to. Honestly, I just compete with myself all the time. I'm always like in my own head, and just try to be better. You know, I don't focus on. And like a lot of people have a lot of jealousy problems and stuff like that too. But it's like, I always try to support people to do well. And, you know, whether they're in the family or friends, you always want to lift them up and say, good job. And you're get jealous. And then you just, instead of looking at other people and keep out Joneses, you just want to compete with yourself, man. You just got to keep pushing and be friends with everybody. So I would just say, I don't really look up to anybody, honestly, man. I love my kids and my wife, my family. I just try to be, look up to myself basically from who I could be, you know, in the future, I would say.
That's a good answer. And I like that.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't really. Yeah, man. I think that's pretty much it. I would say. How about you? Who do you look up to?
Oh shit! Wow, that's asked a couple of times. It changes every now and then. I don't think it's changed since the last time, but my dad, I look at, he's number one, right? And not for the reason that most people would have him on there. I look up at that when I'm trying to make a decision in life or when I'm at a crossroads in my life, and I look up to that, and whatever he would have done, I do the opposite. He's a shitty human being, so like I try to be the opposite of that guy. I've gone through some shit recently that, like, you know, my dad would handle a certain way, and I'm trying not to handle it that way, right?
Yeah.
And I believe I'm doing an okay job at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was really struggling there for a while with my with the whatever I'm doing, and I was really struggling with it. I'm like, does this make me an asshole? Does this make me a big piece of shit? Does this make me my father? Right.
Yeah.
And the answer to that, I've had to really look inward and be like, no, it doesn't. Right. Yeah. And like, it's okay to not be all right. And it's okay to, you know, go through shit.
What do you want to do?
Yeah.
What the hell is that?
Well, I think just the fact that you can ask yourself those questions, so you're talking to yourself in that way, right? And I think that's a good way to be, honestly. I really do, because it's almost like a shitty boss. You know, if you ever had a really shitty boss in your life, you're like, man, if I ever was a leader, I would do exactly the opposite than what they would do. You know what I mean? So I would say, yeah, dude, your dad, if he was like that, I would say that's a great answer as well, because you learn a lot from the negative. You learn what not to do. Right?
Yeah.
You learn from it.
Absolutely. And then, you know, my dad was adopted when he was like a year old. Yeah. And he didn't meet his mom for 50 years, right? So in 1991 or 2, when the adoption thing opened, his mom started looking, and he didn't start looking until 2013. And they told him at the Children's Aid Society that it could take 6 months to a year to come back. It took a week.
Yeah.
Because they were already looking. So after 50 years, we finally found them. And I had, like, you know, shit, man, like 25 years worth of catching up to do with my Nana. And, you know, in the last 4, her health hasn't been the greatest, but like, you know, she's probably going to die soon, which, you know, we won't remember her in 2 generations. So, you know, I love her to pieces, but, you know, I didn't.
It's good you got to reach out to her. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I got to meet her and hang out with her, and she tried to grandma the shit out of me. So that was cool.
Yeah.
You know, there's that. I think my wife and my kids share one rock.
Yeah.
For different reasons. My oldest taught me to be a parent.
Yeah.
And made me a parent for the first time. My youngest is teaching me fucking patience.
Oh, dude, controlling emotions is like a fucking skill, dude.
Dude,
it's
millennial parents, bro. We didn't grow up. No, we weren't taught how to control our emotions.
Man. I had to read books for that shit, dude. I read a lot of books, man, and just to control my emotions and change my way of thinking.
Yep. Our parents didn't teach us, so now we're learning how to control our emotions alongside toddlers, man.
Yes.
They're also learning how to do it while we're like towing the line, being their model, and being like, okay, if I fucking
And to all the listeners out there, the secret is the casino, man. It's that simple, dude. You just gotta get your money. You gotta get out to the
My secret is to go for milk. You know, hey, you know what? Maybe I'll be right back. We're out of you know, like, see ya in fucking 15 years when you're a lot more well behaved, you know? The last person on the rock is Austin Matthews.
Oh, yes. Yeah, he's a beauty, man. He seems like a good guy. I have to say, though, I think Connor McDavid, I do like Connor McDavid. He seems chill, and he just seems like I don't know, I like him. But
would you see him chill with $14 million a year?
I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, for sure.
I'd be pretty chill having multiple millions.
That's true.
Not having to look at the price of fucking food and not having to worry about dropping $100 at the casino, you know?
Oh, 100%. But there's also people like there was a billionaire that threw himself out of a high rise there, like what was it, 3 years ago? Like you just never know, you know what I mean? Like some people that do make a lot of money for sure, you think they're like super, but I don't know, man. You just never know. It's like there was this one my brother said to me one time. He's doing way better in life now, but he had money problems stuff. He made bad decisions in life and so on. And
Probably
one thing he said to me, one thing he said to me was like, "Well, I'm going to be making more money at this job now, so it should fix my problem." I was like, "Well, I don't know, dude." I was like, "You could make $1 million a year if you spend 1.1, you're in debt."
Oh,
so
shit.
Right? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter.
$1 million a year and you spend $1 million a year, you're in debt. Not 1.1.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Just as an example, that like if you spend more, then it just, you know, it's like, really, is more money going to make you more happy? It just depends how you manage it, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
Now, if you're Elon Musk and you're worth $460 billion, yeah, you might be okay, I would say.
You know what? That's why he has 12 children, though.
Yes, yeah, because he can afford that shit, man.
He don't even have to see them, man. He could just slide them a check, be like, stay with
me. Like,
and
yeah, exactly.
Like, you add a 0 on the end of that. No.
Can you imagine? Oh my god,
bro! I would be like, Dad, can I borrow can I borrow $2 million? You know?
Yeah. Oh man.
I think I'm thinking small when I say $2 million.
Yeah. Well, you think about his shit though, what he went through in life, man. Like all the hard work and everything, man, and sacrifice. I've read both his books, man. It's pretty decent. It's a good read. You learn quite a bit what he went through.
I have to read them. I haven't read them. I didn't know he could write, or read.
Yeah, no, it's just some guy sat down with him. That's all. And
it's a picture book.
Yeah, it's a picture book. Yeah, it's like Newfoundlanders. Hey, when one guy's like, he asked me where I got my ticket. I was like, well, Newfoundland, they just threw us in a room for our power engineering certificates. They said, "Yo, build these type of Legos. You'll be all right." So I said for my third class power engineering, I had to build a 26-piece Lego. You know what I mean?
Oh shit!
Yeah, I was like,
you gave me the Harry Potter castle set for my.
Yeah. Oh no, dude, that's first class power engineer shit right there. Newfoundland, you can't be at that. Oh, that takes a while.
Hey man, the box said 4 to 5 years, and I did it in 8 hours. So, you know. I
did it in 8 hours, motherfucker. Yeah, that Star Wars shit, dude. Oh yeah, no problem. Yeah. At least 2 days. 2 days.
Yeah. Man. Oh, brother, man, I appreciate you coming on the podcast. It's been a lot of fun, dude, and we got to do it again, dude, because I knew by watching your videos that we'd vibe well and we'd have a good show. But it was better than even I thought. Right? You're fucking awesome.
Yeah. No, dude. Thank you so much. And like I said, this is my very first podcast. So
popped your cherry.
Yes, man, you did.
Did it hurt?
And because of you now, it got me thinking about like the social media thing and what I got to do next. So the next steps I have to go.
Yeah.
All because of you, man. And shout out to all the shit too that you had to deal with in your life and all that stuff that got you to where you are today. It's quite amazing, man. And all the sponsorship that you're involved with. Also sounds like your family is deadly, man. Looks like you got a good family that are supporting you. And also shout out to your father that made you the person you are today. So it's been an absolute pleasure, man. Yeah, exactly. Man, anytime, man, I'm gonna redo this social media thing and redo it. So anytime, man, you want to chat, for sure, dude. And I'm gonna watch your podcast more and I'm gonna get into this type of thing. I think this is fun. I enjoy talking to people. I'm like you, like whenever I'm at work too, I'm like a social butterfly, man. Like you do the team buildings, you get the boys together for golf, you love to talk to people. Yep. Like you said, that ADHD, you're kind of like, you need that. You need it, And
group orgies at the golf course,
Dude, man, I'm telling you, it's that's just the type of people we are. So it was definitely fun, man. I appreciate it. I really do.
Definitely, man. Thanks for coming on, brother. And hey, Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year to you too.
Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, because we can still say that until January 1st, I think. That's even after that a little bit. And brother, hey, stay frosty, man.
Yes, I will. Yes, thank you. Frost, it was an absolute pleasure, man. It was great.
No, dude, the pleasure was mine.
Yes, and all the shout out to the blue collar people out there too. They're working their ass off, man. I'm telling you, it's not easy, dude. And keep pushing you guys out there because life's a shit show, man. Just keep going.
Life is a shit show.
Keep going. Just know that we're all in the same boat, man. If you're ever feeling down, be like, there's a million people just like you, man. They're just feeling shitty sometimes. It sucks, but hopefully your work is good, man. You support your family. You just live life, travel, and find things that you like to do.
Yes, boy.
Yes, boy.
And
come to Newfoundland.
Say goodbye. Come to where you at? Come to where I'm taking.
Yeah. Stay where you at till I come for you too.
Is that how you say goodbye? How do we say goodbye in Newfoundland?
Yes.
Say it. Whatever we gotta say to end this.
How do you say goodbye? Later on, boy. That's all
Later
I say.
on, boy. Later on, boy.
Go on with you.
Go on with you. Later on, boy.
Go on with you. Talk to you later, my son.
Yes, yo.
Yes. But no, it's great, dude. Well, take care.
You take care, brother.
Peace out. See you guys.
Peace out.
I'm gonna go drinking. To the casino I go.